You know, I lived
sure,
like, I'm going to get into this later, but I've lived the first half of COVID in South Carolina and Georgia
Yeah,
at my, like, you know, in the South, and then the rest of it here. And I was like,
for sure.
what the fuck? These are two
Yeah,
different
listen,
worlds.
you come back here now, it's like there's no such thing as COVID.
Everything's
It's
open,
wild.
right?
Everything's open. Our
Crazy.
gym is open. I just got through teaching a full class. We've got wrestling going on right now, and I think there's like 15 people on the mat. So, I mean,
Oh my God. That's
you know,
incredible. You know, here they limit it to like 5, 6, 7 people,
for
like
sure.
pairs per class. And like, okay, certain Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu places don't care, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
here's the thing: is our audience, because you know I had COVID late July.
Right. I was like, no way. He talked like, I was like, he talked all the shit and then he got it. And I wanted to
But
see
I knew
like,
I was gonna get it, man. I knew
I wanted to see how like someone who was healthy, you know, training. I wanted to see how your body would react to that. I was not really concerned, you know.
So here's the thing: is that if you look at the stats right now, in America, 80% of the people that have passed away from COVID, and again, I'm not saying this is a good thing. It's
Right.
not good. We should definitely protect the vulnerable people. But 80% of the people that have passed away have been over 65. Almost 50% of the people in America that have passed away have been in long-term care facilities, right?
Yeah.
This is something that's not attacking the young. You know, if you're healthy, it's going to be more like a cold for you. My entire household got it. I got it. I was over it in 5 days. I was symptom free, right? And I had very mild symptoms. I had one day where I was pretty fatigued, but I made myself get up and run every day. You know,
Yeah. Was it different? People
what's
say
that?
it's very different from a flu. Like people say like it feels a bit weird.
Yeah, it did 100%. You're right. It did feel a little weird, and I did lose taste and smell, and that was super weird. But
Wow.
you know, literally, I could have stuck my nose in a gas can and not smelled anything. It was crazy. But
Yeah.
other than that, man, it what like if I didn't know there was a pandemic that was scary going around, I wouldn't have missed work because I would have probably still worked.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was that light. And everybody I know now, I know as far as athletes, I know about 30 people that have had it. It's ran through our community just because we kept going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Listen, when I got it, I just got back from cornering Tyron in the UFC, right? So I'm
Right.
on airplanes. I'm right next to people. I knew that I was going to eventually be exposed. It was a matter of time. And as much as I was traveling, as little sleep as I was getting, and as hard as I was training, my immune system was open for it.
Right.
So I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to happen. And it did, you know, and I'm glad it did because now I'm past it. And yeah, I'm living regular life. I'm not scared to death of it. You know, some people like my friend from California works at Stanford, and he said it's nuts out there. Like he said, it's absolutely insane. He was in Georgia. He said like it is nothing. Like he's like, holy shit. Like there are people literally going to the grocery store in hazmat suits in California,
Wow.
and here you only certain people wear masks. Like it's not even a full-on mandate here to wear masks. So.
Yeah,
I mean,
I heard there's some states that are crazy going with their legislation. And I can honestly tell you that being in Chicago is a mainly, like I said, mainly liberal. And the places here are open, right? But the motto here is like, help keep Chicago open, wear a mask. And I know that you have a very strong opinion on that because I've been following like your posts and like, what do you feel on, like, do you feel like a mask is the most effective way of preventing the spread of the disease? And is it the only thing that we can do?
One thing, epidemiologists will tell you that one, masks don't stop the spread. What masks do is they lower the viral load, which means I'll still get it, but I'm going to get less virus. So I'll probably have a lighter case of COVID. So what they're saying, and if they would have just told this to us before, we'd have probably been more receptive to masks. And listen, I'm not anti-mask. If I go somewhere and they say I got to wear a mask, I'm wearing a mask. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that guy that's flipping out in the grocery store because they're making me put a mask on. That's ridiculous. You know, I'm a private business owner, and if I tell people to come in my business and wear pink tutus, they got to wear pink tutus or they can't train. It's just what it is. You know, so I understand, you know, if a business wants me to wear a mask, I'll wear a mask. But don't fool people into thinking that they're safe because they have the mask on. Because if an 80-year-old goes out, even with that mask, they're still being exposed to the virus. So if they think, oh, if I just wear this mask, I'll be fine, and they go live their regular life, they have a high chance of getting it. They need to stay their ass at home because they're more vulnerable, right? I think, you know, once you, like, under 70 years old, like, it's about flu numbers. like as far as
Okay.
deaths and everything. And once over 70, the numbers skyrocket. So it's really dangerous for the elderly population, right? But if you're a healthy adult with no problems, then you're not going to have much. Hell, I know a guy that smokes a pack a day, is obscenely overweight, and he had 7 days of pretty rough symptoms and got completely over it. Wasn't hospitalized, wrote it out at home, was fine. You know,
That's what's weird about it. It's very random in like the selection, like, well, not random. Like I feel like it does, like you said, attack a lot more the people that are over 70, you know, people that have certain pre-existing conditions. But at certain times, like you said, somebody that smokes is overweight, has mild
yeah,
symptoms for
like
7 days.
he should be the guy that has problems, and he
Yeah.
didn't have any problems. What's crazy too, though, is, you know, we train a lot of rangers here, military rangers, army
Yeah.
rangers, and they told me that it ran through the ranger bat, like absolutely ran through it. He said
Yeah.
hundreds of guys in the ranger bat have had it, to the point where they're not even really worried about it. At first, they were doing these big 14-day quarantines, but people were just going and quarantining, lifting weights, eating pizza, and playing video games all the time, and they were fine. So
Yeah.
what they started doing recently is, and this is only in Savannah, I don't know if it's other ranger bats,
Of
but in
course.
Savannah, you have to show 2 symptoms in order to even get tested. If you test positive, they quarantine you for 3 days. If within that 3 days your symptoms subside, you go back to work, even if you tested positive.
Yeah.
So that lets you know that they don't think it's too dangerous if they're, you know what I'm saying? If they're following those protocols.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And I saw the CDC, and I don't know how reliable. This is a problem that has come to surface with this pandemic, a problem that's been around for a while, which is that of where do we get our information from, and who can we trust?
It's a mess. It's an incomplete mess, because you have epidemiologists overseas. Like, if you listen to some of Sweden and Germany have great epidemiologists. Their people are amazing, right? But I follow a lot of Sweden's epidemiologists, and they have a completely different perspective on this thing. And guess what? If you look at their numbers now, their hospitals are empty, their ICUs are empty, their case numbers are low, their daily deaths are nearly nothing. They're pretty much at zero. And they never wore masks. They never completely locked down. They did some mild restrictions, but my friends that live there trained jujitsu every single day while they were there. Every single day. They never closed down. And when the UFC started back up, the Swedish fighters, they were all in shape and ready to go.
Yeah.
Because they were training the whole time, you know?
So what is it? What is it that the United States did different, and why? Why do you think that this is being lived so different, not only in the United States, but in each state differently? Like,
Well,
from state to
each
state, it's
state,
very
and
different.
so one thing about the U.S. is our Constitution talks about states' rights very much.
Yeah.
And so the problem with the serious pandemic, which I hate to say this, and I know people will flame me, I don't think this is the one. I don't think this is the big one that's going to kill everybody. I think a lot of, and again, I'm not saying this is a good thing or speaking lightly of this, but a lot of the people that have passed from COVID were probably on their last leg anyway. They weren't doing too well. There are definitely some outliers, you know, but for the most part, the people that are getting hit the hardest, the people that are dying, they were last stages of their life, elderly, or they were morbidly obese, had a lot of other health problems that they could have succumbed to this year anyways, but COVID just kind of gave them that push over the ledge, you know? So I don't think this is the big one. The serious pandemics that scare people to death kill young people, and this one's not doing that, you know? So, you know, they push more of a states' rights idea. And if you look at it, when this thing is said and done, it's going to be hard for New York, California, places like that to ever bounce back. There are businesses that are leaving that are never going to go back. Like, they're gone forever. Those jobs are gone forever.
It's
Georgia
scary.
is actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Economically, Georgia just got voted #1 state to do business.
Wow.
There's been actual job growth during this whole thing. People are doing, like, we're doing okay here. Like, the few months that, like, some people that weren't prepared to be closed for a couple months went out of business. They couldn't handle it. Because we were closed for, I think, 3 months here before we could really, really open back up. But once they figured everything out and they're like, there's a specific demographic that's really getting hit, they kind of let us kind of go wide open, you know?
Yeah.
And we've gone wide open, and there's been an increase in cases, but there's been no spike in deaths.
Right.
So,
this is what I wanted to tell you. I don't know if you've seen the recent numbers, like, released by CDC. It was, well, recent. It was like,
I look them up every single day.
right. So I don't know. I didn't check them. Like, when was the last update? Do you know that? Just because I don't
So
want
I
to be
looked
wrong.
at Georgia's today.
Right. Now, what's the mortality rate in the United States? Because I saw for like people that were
I'll tell you,
20 and
I've
under,
got
it
them
was
right here.
0.003, right?
Yeah, no, it's super low. So give me 2 seconds and I'll pull them up because I just pulled the latest stats.
Just because whenever I speak about this, people tend to like leave out the numbers, and then people just want to speak their opinion,
Oh
but I
no,
actually want to show the numbers because this is
for
true.
sure.
How many people
So
has the flu killed? And look at the way we talk and act about
exactly.
the flu.
So let's talk about a couple things. So one, so I just read a recent report that only 121 people under the age of 21 have died with COVID, not of COVID. So if you die with COVID, you're labeled a COVID death. So for instance, there was a kid here in Savannah that had a febrile seizure. He was in the tub and he had a seizure. He drowned in the tub. Now his fever spiked because of COVID, but one, his fever wasn't high enough to kill him. Two, febrile seizures never kill anybody. Like, you don't die of febrile seizures. If he'd have been in his bed, he would have woke up and been like, that was weird, and he'd have been fine, right? He was in his tub. He drowned to death because he had that seizure in the tub, and his parents weren't watching him. 7-year-old kid. They put all over the news, COVID death, are you going to listen now, blah, blah, blah. That could have happened with the flu. Like, some kids are more predisposed to febrile seizures, you know? But, you know, that's the kind of thing that's getting listed in these the 21 and under numbers. So only 121 people, and all of the people that have died in America have died of COVID under the age of 21. That is a speck. That is like, for instance, I think 188 people under the age of 21 died this season from the flu.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got to put this into perspective. Now let's look at the overall numbers released by the CDC.
Yeah.
So 19 and under years of age was 0.0003%. 20 to 49, this is the infection fatality rate. 20 to 49, 0.0000002%. 50 to 69, 0.005. So we're getting a little more dangerous, but it's still extremely low. Now over 70.54, much higher. That's a little more dangerous for them. But when you think about that, it's still 99.5% of 70-year-olds are going to live.
Yeah.
You know, now that's still, when you think of 330 million people in the United States, it's a lot of people.
Yeah,
you know,
it is
a lot of people. But 70 years and older, I think the average life expectancy in America is 75, 76 years old. You know, the average age of COVID death is up there, real close, like 75, 76 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think we're going to look back at this in 10, 15 years when all the numbers are in and we really break down these statistics. And this could, like, I don't know if some states aren't ever going to come back. Some industries are gone forever. You know what I'm saying?
New York is scary too. LA is definitely gonna be like reformed. It needs to change. Like, I mean, you know, the cities are gonna finally be able to have some space to change, but for a while they're gonna be dead cities.
But so I'll tell you what's gonna be crazy, right? So this is what always happens. This is the same thing that happened during the housing crash, right? So certain industries that maybe were at a time mom and pop could be in these industries are gonna be gone. Because they lost everything during this during COVID. Big business is going to sweep in and take those industries. So they're never going to come back to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the billionaires are going to continue to get richer. They're going to take these industries. They're going to take this market, and it's going to be gone from us forever. All right. Beyond that, like a lot of like jiu-jitsu, which California was the hotbed for jiu-jitsu, right? A lot of those guys are leaving. Cal Terra, one of the top jiu-jitsu players on the planet, he tried to stay open, kept getting fined. They were fining him $5,000 every time they caught him open, right? Finally, they threatened to cut off his electricity and his power and everything, so he's shut down indefinitely. He's done. You know what I'm saying? Cal Terra is one of the biggest names in jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. He's either going to leave California or lose everything, you know? If I was him, I'd leave, you know?
Yeah.
But the good thing is we're going to see like the South is going to be the place for jiu-jitsu soon.